As we all know, hundreds of first responders in this city gave their lives on 9/11, leaving their loved ones stunned and also humbled by their incredible sacrifice to the city and the people they served. We met 4 siblings who lost their father that day, and how they chose to honor him reflects the best of humanity.
He was a big kid, and he loved life. He loved working on cars, loved music. He was just a very fun and playful guy.
He would still have like a lot of energy, come home and like play with all of us, the neighborhood kids. He was big on like riding his bike, throwing the football around, and playing his guitar. If he wasn't with us, that's all he did. And he was a huge Grateful Dead fan, so he was either like humming songs or just playing to the guitar.
He was 39 years old, but those who knew Carl Asaro describe him as a big kid, a man who loved music, his wife and 6 children, and his job as a firefighter. He worked at Engine 54, only 4 miles from the World Trade Center. On September 11th, 2001, he was one of the first responders who answered the call to help, putting his own life in danger to save others. Of the 15 who left from Engine 54 Ladder 4 that day, none returned home. Now, 20 years later, 65 children of New York firefighters who died that day have picked up their own helmets, inspired by their loved ones' ultimate sacrifice. For Carl, 4 of his 6 children have continued his legacy. Does it get any easier 20 years later?
I think during this time, it's kind of expected to feel those old feelings, and for them to resurge. But the days in between, when you don't expect it, when a song comes on the radio or you see something that reminds you of him, those are the days that kind of hit you a little bit harder.
The crisp blue skies in the early morning of September 11th belied the darkness of the day ahead.
People are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess, because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know. We came from the 82nd floor, and I don't know where my peers are. I don't know. I hope to God they're okay.
It's horrific. I can't believe this is happening.
We want to tell you what we know as we know it, but we just got a report in that there's been some sort of explosion at the World Trade Center in New York City.
Among the 2,977 lives lost, Carl Asaro left his 6 young children fatherless. Carl Jr., Matt, Rebecca, and Mark were 13, 12, 9, and 7 at the time.
I remember my mom, we used to go carpool, and it was her day to bring everyone and pick them up. And I saw my dad that morning. The night before, I asked him for Tic Tacs. So I remember I was begging him. So before he went to work, he dropped them off, and he kissed me goodbye. And then in school, they kept calling us one by one. And my mom, when she picked me up, she was just like so frantic. I remember my mom was back and forth on the phone, and I was 9, so I didn't really understand much and like what was going on until like a few days, weeks went by. Just my dad never came home. I thought my dad pulled up one day, and it was the chief to tell my mom that what was going on. My mom didn't understand. I finally hit her days later that there was a big thing. He wasn't coming home.
Matt, your recollections from that day?
Took the bus home. I was like, oh, my dad's a firefighter. He's down there. I was proud, but I didn't know what the hell had happened. I didn't know the severity of it. He had the beeper, so I remember just calling, just beeping him, and no answer. That's how life got to be, without him. Coming down here, just waiting. People were getting found every day. Alive, dead. They didn't find nothing. Not a bone, not a hair, not a momentum. The memento. Yeah, it was just kind of sucked,
So knowing that ultimate sacrifice, how did you all then each individually decide, I'm going to do what Dad did, that ultimately caused him to lose his life?
I think it's the impact he left. It's like the department's small. My dad had such a big heart. And through the years after 9/11, we met so many people that just even having one conversation with him, he impacted so many.
The bond that just formed through the firehouse is just like no other.
in the sense we grew up with. I think for us to give back, like my sister said, and to live a life of service is one way to really feel connected with my dad, and for us to feel whole in a way.
And so in a way, the FDNY, would you say, has helped you cope?
Yeah. I would say, yeah. They were part of our lives.
It has been and always will be.
What do you think Dad would think about the four of you guys becoming firefighters?
He'd be proud.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. He's probably looking down at all of us right now. You know, he's smiling. Brings us that much closer to him. You know, we get to honor him this way, and I think there's no better way to honor him.
Hey guys, I wanted you to be a doctor.
When you have your own children, you think you would encourage them to be firefighters?
After I know what I know now, probably
Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah.
Carl Asaro's body was never found, so his family opted to bury a guitar instead, filled with notes from loved ones, a symbol of his love of music. For 5 years, his namesake, Carl Jr., didn't visit Ground Zero. At one time, he actively avoided it. But now he finds it peaceful, telling us since it was the last place his father was, he considers it to be his final resting place. And now, on the eve of the anniversary of one of the darkest days in American history, this family is trying to turn so much pain into perspective and purpose.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with my sister the other day. She was writing a speech, that she was asked to give. And we were having a conversation about it. We were talking about, like, you're only truly dead when the name's mentioned for the last time. And I thought that was powerful, and if that's the case, then my father and these men that were killed that day and sacrificed their life, they're going to live forever, through their legacy and their actions. Their name will be in history forever. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Their actions will always be remembered. Their stories will always be recited, and their lives and their beautiful moments will always be relived, and the people that loved them and cared about them. And that's something that keeps me going and helps me to accept what happened, is that they'll never be forgotten.
A heartfelt thanks to the Asaro siblings for sharing their story with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.